there's like a lot of data that's come out of even just, we had a pre-post and observation throughout the experience. Each experience is about 1 hour, but the VR portion is generally 5 minutes on rotation, so we allow the patient to, if they want to continue watching, they can. We also speak to some of the caregivers, professional and personal caregivers, and simultaneously we're running a systematic literature review on anything to do with virtual reality, augmented reality, X-ray Levis, and dementia. So we've sifted through 4,000 articles and are now looking at a specific 200 to date that have been published that seem to have any sort of, replicability for scientific purposes. And I think we'll get some kind of, I'm not sure how fruitful that will be, but it will determine the fact that there needs to be research in this area. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk about the Baycrest Center for Education and LRI project. And our idea was to develop a proof of concept that using virtual reality dementia simulation could help build empathy towards people with dementia and their caregivers. And we filmed some 360 videos. The scenario is a gentleman who has dementia and he's in a situation with his caregiver, and you're watching it really from a third-person perspective, but a couple of the times during the film you flip into the perspective of the person with dementia. And we worked with Terry, who isn't here but is on his way. He's from Digital Generals, and their team helped film for us. And we ran an evaluation where we have a total of 33 formal and informal caregivers, and they were giving empathy rating scales pre and post, and they also participated in some other activities to see what sort of had more of an impact. And although there were no real statistically significant differences, there were a lot of reasons why, most of which being most of the people scored themselves very, very high on empathy before they even started. And you think of the population, it makes sense. But the qualitative information was fantastic and really proved to us that moving ahead with something like this for an educational tool is very worthwhile and useful. And then they gave us a lot of really good feedback as to how we could make it way better and shorter. But we've been really pleased with it, and this is sort of the precursor to all of this. Turn over to Cindy.
All right, mine's show and tell. But as I'm doing that, I will, I'll get you guys to pass these around. Pass those down that way. Oh, thanks. All right. Oh, I was gonna say, there's a stack there if you wanna pass them out. What you should see on the iPad is a screen that looks like this, where you've got some blinking dots. And I've given you a couple of handouts. So mine wasn't actually a CABI funded project directly. It's a CABI funded project because I'm funded by CABI. And there was a unique opportunity at Baycrest where, and I'm sure most hospitals are feeling this right now, there's a lack of funding for hospitals, for education in general. And our orientation program had been cut down from 2 days to half a day. And what that meant was that new staff coming in were not going to be having the opportunity that they used to have to meet all of the key people in the organization. And I had just seen a really cool presentation at a conference from a university in Dublin about how they had used a tool called Erasma, which is a completely free augmented reality tool. And so I thought, So we created the augmented reality Amazing Race for our staff. So now new staff, when they come in, we're actually getting new decals that are going to be going up around the hospital with each of the stops. They'll be going around the hospital, and at each stop that's an augmented reality stop, they're going to be given a clue that takes them to their next stop. One of those stops is this picture here. It's a painting that's in our staff lunchroom. So if you take the device with the viewer and you hold it over top of the painting, what will happen is a video will start to play. And it's going to tell you all about our staff lunchroom. Another application is this particular page here. And when you hold it over top, another video will play, and it's going to tell you all about the responsive behaviors e-learning module. So this was a poster. So it's a poster at a celebration of CABI projects that we had here. And we wanted to make it a little bit more interactive. So we had the iPads and the poster was there. And of course I was there to talk to the module. But if people wanted to just learn a little bit more about it, they could just grab the iPad, hold it up to the poster, and it would tell them a little bit more about responsive behaviors. So you'll notice that the two of these are slightly different. The one that is the picture, when you take the device away, the video stops playing. The other one, it will continue to play wherever you actually put the tablet, and that's just a programming feature.
So we've got a few minutes for some questions, but before we had a few people that were able to come in late. If you could just maybe just briefly just say who you are and what brings you here.
Sure. Apology for arriving late. My name is Wendy Ellis, and I'm an academic chair at George Brown College in the Health Sciences Division.
And I'm Paula Mastrilli, I'm the other chair in the Sally Horsford Lee School of Nursing. And Wendy and I are involved in what we call a virtual serious gaming. And we've created several client situations where students have to work through the virtual sim to make decisions about assessment of care.
I'm Ron Valeno. I'm a caregiver. I'm not a chair. I'm sitting in a chair. But I'm a caregiver. I'm on the seniors
Advisory panel.
advisory panel. But I'm a caregiver.
And at the back.
No.
I'm a tourist. Everyone gets put on the spot. Thank you. So, does anyone have any questions? You've heard just a brief synopsis of the four CABI funded projects. Anything that jumped out that you want to ask?
Can I,
Oh,
Cindy, is this going to replace the orientation days?
So there's still the half-day orientation, which is what it has been called down to, and this is going to augment that so that when people go to the WA Cafe, I've already asked your permission, so I'm going to let people know. When people go to our cafe, Evelyn volunteers
Takes
there.
the
And
money.
she's sort of the face of Baycrest when it comes to the cafe. So we're going to have a video play where Evelyn introduces herself and talks about the cafe. When you go to Human Resources, the Director of Human Resources is being recorded, and it will be him that comes up so that you can put a face to the name so you know who these people are when you pass them in the hall, because there's not going to be the time for them to actually properly introduce them face to face anymore.
Okay, thank you.
So, I'm kind of familiar with this, but it's not a very expensive program.
It's free.
It's software.
It's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people do this at weddings, so this is really something that could really cut down on orientation.
Well, that and performance support, if you think about, say, getting in a new glucometer or a new IV pump, and you do the initial training, but let's say you put a sticker on that pump or glucometer and people can take their phone or an iPad and hover it over the sticker and get a quick replay of how to program it. Instant performance support.
With our person Clyde who just came in, I asked him sort of quietly as he was coming in if he would mind sharing who he is. It has to be that, but you're not.
But also a couple minutes about some of the projects that they've been doing at SickKids, because he's done a lot of work, so putting you on the spot.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great seeing a lot of enthusiasts in VR and perhaps early adopters as well. I'm Clyde Matella. I'm on staff at SickKids as an anesthesiologist. So I'm a clinician. That's what I do most of the time. But I virtually do VR some of the time too. We have a lab at SickKids that's been up and running for maybe 9 months now that does VR work. Right now it's in use in clinical areas where I think Cindy probably highlighted. It's helping patients prepare for the operating room with various apps. We have about 8 studies that we're running, looking at VR from pain management, reducing anxiety to post-op pain, as well as for training within the operating room. So our nurses need to have just-in-time training. So we offer this through a VR environment using 360. We also have HoloLens. We have some apps in HoloLens that we're doing trials on as well, both for recognition of devices and menus that come up in front of you. So various things. So I think we have, I'd say, about 4 verticals that we're running on VR and AR, as well as some machine learning and machine vision as well, embedded in VR. But thanks for inviting me.
What's a HoloLens?
HoloLens.
What is it?
It's like your glasses, but just a lot nicer.
Pictures aren't lovely.
So it just allows you to, it layers information in front of you, so you can see the room, the people in the room, but I can also see images or key phrases or decision support right in front of me while I'm talking to you as well. So right now I could actually see another person standing next to you if I was wearing the glasses. So it's just one of the many devices for mixed reality, or mixed reality rather.
How long have you been working with the HoloLens? Because that's
it's a very good question. We were part of Wave 2, so we've had it for a year now, and we have, I think, 3 or 4 projects.
And you're developing custom content for the HoloLens, or are you using something else? Are you making it?
Both custom is 90%, and then 10% just out of box.
Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other quick questions? There's lots of questions, so we'll have more time. So this is a great chance to now to get us into some discussion mode. So everyone's had a chance to briefly introduce yourself and what you went. Now what we'd like you to do is we're going to switch into groups based, organized somewhat on content, but again, we'll come back in about 3:15, about an hour. This is that chance for you to have some more ask questions, but also share. I mean, we've already got a lead on a free augmented reality software platform, which you can see how it's been used. One of the things, this is sort of a kind of a Canadian, almost Canadian boy thing, but I think you might understand how this works. Is I remember when I was a little kid, you'd go out into the playground and you'd have your hockey cards or something like that, and you'd sit back and go, you've got your stack, and your friend would have their stack, and then you'd sit down and you go, got it, need it, got it, need it, got it, need it, and then you start to deal, that sort of thing. It's an interesting metaphor because I think it actually works with this sort of thing. What I'd like everyone to do is, when you get into your group, start to think a little bit about what are the things that you have. Knowledge, technology, resources, those sorts of things. And what are the things that you need? And that could be knowledge, technology, resources, it could be anything. Funding, I'm sure everyone will be saying funding, but those sorts of things. And the idea, the spirit of this is about information exchange, but also that discussion to build things. Because what you may find is that some of the things you've been looking for might exist actually around the table, even with people that you know, and you might not realize that they have the same kind of resources that they have. So there are some questions that are on your agenda. Before we get in there, I'm just going to echo them. Is really what I'd like you to do is as a group, and this is, you can self-organize around this. This is something that, the key is to get the conversation going and having those exchanges. We don't have to be very rigid about this. But in your discussions, talk a little bit about what do you see